right, here she is, Gina Mazany on the show now, who'll be fighting next against Elizabeth Schroder at FAC 17 on December the 9th. Gina, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I first want to start with I know you just got married recently, so congratulations. Is your new name is it now Gina Elliott?
Yes. To be fair though, I haven't started the process on changing my name quite yet. I just gotta get in a fist fight first, and then then we'll move on with some more adulting.
Uh,
But
of course. Well, I saw some pictures on your Instagram. It looked like it was a beautiful ceremony. I know this was a long time coming. What was the whole event like?
oh, it was beautiful. It was so much fun. It was perfect. Everything was great about it. Literally couldn't have been more of a perfect day. But yeah, it was fun. There was a lot of live wrestling going on there with all like everyone. There was like MMA people, so it was wild and fun and great. It was pretty perfect.
Now, I know a lot of people out there. I mean, that aren't mixed martial artists. They want to make sure that they don't have any bumps or bruises or anything for the pictures. Is that something that you guys considered leading up to the actual wedding day, just to try and stay away from having any shiners for pictures, or was that not really a discussion?
So I did. So it's funny because the week before the wedding week, I think I had a decent little black eye or something. I may even had a cut. I don't remember, um, but then the next week, I remember I was like, some of the guys were like, "It's Gina's wedding week, so let's, don't bruise her, don't cut her, don't do," So it's, uh, I maintained not getting any bumps or bruises, so it was good, it was fine.
Okay,
But now
very
I
good.
have them now, so to make up for it.
Well, the fight's around the corner, and congratulations on all the
Thank
personal
you so
success.
much.
I know you're still at one of the best gyms in the world, Glory MMA. How has camp been? Who do you have around you day to day?
Oh, it's been great. It's definitely been one of my better camps in the sense of like how I've been approaching it a little bit differently. I have a tendency to kind of obsess about when I have fights, and it kind of kills the fun for me. But this fight in particular is a little bit less pressure for me, if that makes sense, because I don't know, um I've seen her fight before. I've been in this arena before when she's fought, like just like the like I've been there, like I've physically been there. So it's a little, I don't know, in a way it's like less nerve-wracking for me. And I've just been really enjoying training. I've been skill building a lot. I've One of my main training partners is Kevin Kroom, and actually me and Tim are heading there tomorrow morning to he's got a bare knuckle fight on Friday. So but he's been my main training partner for a while. But I've been also training with a lot of the girls. Kylie O'Haron and Alexa Culp, who's also fighting in the same card. And I try to get in with everybody really
Mhm.
as much as I can.
I love Kevin Kroom. I've been interviewing him for a very long time. He just had a big win, his first fight outside of the UFC since his release, right?
Yep, yep, yeah. He's a hoot. He's hands down one of my best friends. He actually married Tim and I.
Did he really?
He did, yeah, yeah. He did great. He did so great.
Now, don't you have to get a license to do that? Did he already have that, or is it something he had to get?
He went and got it. He went
He
ahead and
did.
got it. Yeah, yeah. He did. Yeah, he did great. He took it. It was funny because initially I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Kevin's a wild card sometimes, but he worked really hard at it, and he put a lot of effort into it, and you could tell it was like a very thought out uh process that he did. So yeah, no, he was great. He's a hoot.
Very good. Well, that leads me to another question, and I guess it's a double question for both you and Kevin. Just your take on maybe where his mindset's at. But it seems like anyone that's a mixed martial artist, once you make it to the UFC, you want to stay there. What is your mindset? Moving forward, are you trying to get back there for your third stint? And how is he since his release? Is he basically trying to do the same thing, get back to the big show?
You know, it's interesting that you bring that because, or I mean, I obviously I was going to be brought up, but when I started fighting, I never anticipated on being in the UFC. That was never like, sounds weird, but it's like never been like a big dream of mine. I just enjoyed fighting. I enjoy competing. Um, yeah, I just enjoy fighting, and having opportunities to fight in the UFC was great because then I didn't have to work two jobs and train at the same time. It gave me the an opportunity to where I could like fight, live off that paycheck, train more, all that kind of fun stuff. Um, and now that I'm released, it's interesting because I feel there's like a lot less pressure. I know I mentioned that before, but I was actually initially inspired from Tim when he was first hired on the UFC, and he fought the top five girl, or excuse me, the top five guys in the world. and then he lost those guys, and then they released him. And then when he got released, he went to Titan, and he had some of the best fights he's ever had. And it's interesting when you watch his fights against like Sean Dodson, which he looked great there, but um and then coming back to Titan, and he fought like these, big, tough, undefeated Brazilians, and and he just kind of ragdolled them and made them all look silly. But the thing is that like that pressure wasn't really there. So just because, like I fought in front of, you know, thousands of people, I've fought in front of Dana, I've fought in front of, whoever, I've won fights that I shouldn't have won. And but yeah, it would be cool to get back to the UFC. Um, my goal is I would like just to get back to a promotion where I'm making decent money. I've always wanted to fight for Bellator. That I don't know why. I think it'd be cool to get into Bellator and see what that's about. One FC would be really cool. But I also love fighting for the UFC. They're a great promotion, and they're always. I mean, they've always been great to me. And yeah, I just would love more opportunities to fight and make money.
Gotcha. How much longer do you think you have? Is there like an age cutoff, or are you just going to go until your body tells you you can't do it anymore?
Um, you know, I, I I'm 34, and I know like, and people are like, "Oh, that's so old," but it's crazy because I just feel like I'm getting better and better and better. Now my recovery, I have to shift things a little differently. I can't train 3, 4 times a day as much anymore because I'm 34. Um, but I just have to alter my recovery and prioritize that a bit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I forgot what the question was.
Just how much longer you think you're going to be
Oh,
fighting?
how much
Yeah.
longer? Well, with the way this is going, I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like females in particular, like we tend to thrive in our mid 30s. Our mid 30s is like there's tons of like Holly Holm, for example. Like I think she's 40, 41, and she still beats up the younger girls. Like I think our bodies are built a little bit different, opposed to men, in the sense of like we could do this for quite a while. And then the way that I fight too, I don't take too much damage. Like I'm not really worried about like my brain or CTE, in the sense like obviously that's always in the back of my mind, but if that were an issue, if I was, you know, getting in there and just getting my face banged around all the time, like then that'd be something to worry about. But I mean, I'm not really sure. Like I'm interested in having a baby, so like Tim and I pulled the goalie, so if like that happens, and there's that. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go until I don't want to fight anymore, or till like until James tells me, "Hey, Gina, it's about time." But
Okay.
um, myself and everyone around me is very supportive of me continuing fighting, and just keep it going. But yeah.
Very good. Well, the last time that we did see you in action was in April. That was a round two loss to Shani Young. What did you learn from that fight in particular?
That was the one in particular where, uh, when I mentioned earlier how I used to like obsess about it, and I obsessed about that fight, and I trained so much, and people think that if you train so much, that's gonna make a difference. And not saying that hard work doesn't make a difference. Obviously, it does, but for me in particular, I I was so obsessed with that fight. I was so obsessed with doing well that by the time I got to the fight, I just like I was over it. I just didn't, I didn't really want to be there, and I didn't perform the way I wanted to perform, because I obsessed about it so much. I felt like I kind of fell out of love with training, and it felt more like a job. And
Mm.
so I learned that if this is something that I want to do, and right now I'm not making UFC money. I'm not going, this isn't like something that I'm going to be able to pay a mortgage with or anything. So I'm purely doing it out of the love of it. And thankfully Tim's, supporting me in it, and he wants me to keep fighting. And yeah, I just learned not to obsess about it and just have fun and enjoy myself, and um, just have a good time.
So it sounds like you had a lot of mental growth leading up to that fight and after it, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I feel like I always tend to grow immensely after fights. If well, okay, so I used to not. Um, and then it got to a point where it's like I can go one of two ways. I can either if I take a loss or a win, I can take it and run with it and just be like, okay, and just put it behind me, or I can take it and analyze it and see like what's going on, where was I, what am I doing, and see where I can improve. And the thing I noticed I need to improve on the most is like I do so much better when I'm happy. I do so much better when I'm enjoying myself, and like I literally get to train with all my best friends in the world at the gym, and my husband, and it's like there's no reason but to be happy and enjoy myself. So that's my goal for this one. And I've but I have also switched up my training a little bit too. So it's like I'm sparring a lot more. I'm going with a lot more of the girls. I'm going with a lot more like awkward people, and um yeah, I'm just always got to grow. Always got to check yourself and see what's going on, and reanalyze. That's what I've been trying to do. I just want to be the best Gina I can be.
Of course. Well, it sounds like Elizabeth might have her hands full come December 9th. I wanted to ask you too, do you get much working with Brandon Moreno? Because he's now at Glory MMA.
Yeah, he's always fun to go with. He's one of those people that you go with, and you just gotta prepare your dukes because I like the way he trains. I miss it when Tim blew his knee out when they were or before, or when he was training with Brandon at Glory uh before he blew his knee out, and it was just so much fun and inspiring to watch them two go, because they would like their drilling looked like a live fight, like a, a live session, a live fight. But that's kind of how Brandon is, and he really kicks up the pace and really kicks up yeah, really really high pace. But yeah, I've got to work with him quite a few times, and he's phenomenal. He's great training partner. Very high pace, makes you really tuckered out, but yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah. How do you see that next matchup with Figueiredo going in January?
I really, the thing that I think is really special about our gym is James makes us a great game plan. Like on top of all the skill building and organizing our game and having an option A, B, and C. Besides all that, he also has a game plan. And people are like, "Oh, the game plan changes once you get hit in the face." It's not necessarily true. With the way that James has us do things. So I definitely think Brandon's going to take it again. I just think that with the combination of his skill building and a good game plan executed by James, I think he'll do phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait for that fight. This their fourth fight. I'm sure they're probably going to fight a couple more times. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Everyone wants to see it. Now, you
Yeah.
did mention Tim and him hurting his knee. In March, he had a huge win over Tagir Ulanbekov, and then he was supposed to fight Amir Elbazi in June. So is that the reason for that fight cancellation? He hurt his knee?
Yep. Yeah. He blew his ACL and his meniscus. And that's the same knee he's blown out before. But yeah, it sucked. He had to pull out. I was really looking forward to that fight, to him to fight Amir. That fight when he fought Tagir was just so great. It sucks that everyone's like, "Oh, he's a cheater. He's this and that," and he like grabbed some gloves. Not that big of a deal, but like people do steroids, and people do other way more cheating stuff to to win fights. Um, I don't think that a couple glove grabs makes you a dirty cheater, but whatever. I thought Tim out wrestled him and uh outclassed him 100%, but whatever. Sore losers. That's fine.
And I didn't even feel like that was intentional. I mean, when you're in there, you're in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you're kind of just reacting, right? Like, what from a fighter's aspect, what was Tim's thought process and all of that?
This is the thing. There is a ref in there for a reason. And when you're in there fighting for your life, for your job, for both your paychecks, you can't fight and ref at the same time.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, and for me, if I there are sometimes where you'll grab the gloves, because like if I go to grab your wrist, you slip out, and I get your glove, like I'm not gonna let it go. So like if let's say if I let go of that, then you get on top of me and you beat me up, and I lose a fight, and I lose half my check. Like, I mean, no one. I mean, it, it happens. I don't think it. I don't think he was like intentionally trying to like, you know, because I mean Tim's had over 25 fights in the UFC, and how many times has he been called a cheater before? Never.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's had dirtier stuff happen to him, and he never complained about it. It's a fight. We're literally fighting in the cage. Like it it's not a very clean sport.
Mhm. No, I mean, great point. I mean, I wasn't even going to bring it up because I didn't think much of it. I thought it was, it is what it is. I know he's not a dirty fighter at all. When is the time frame for him to get back in the octagon? Is he shooting for a certain time range?
He's walking away. Um, well, he's been doing his knee recovery, so I don't know. We're hoping the next couple months he'll be back in the gym, and he's popped in a few times. He can move around, and he's getting better. He's just trying to get back in shape and get everything all recovered. And yeah, we're hoping the next couple of months,
Okay.
hopefully.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're all excited to see him back in there whenever that may be. Let's talk about this upcoming fight, Elizabeth Schroder. She's 3-2, so you definitely have a lot more experience as a mixed martial artist than she does. Is this fight, is it back at 125?
God no, thank goodness. It's at 135.
135. Okay. Is that the weight class that you want to fight at moving forward?
It depends. Like I love fighting 125. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work for me to get down there. Like I literally have to weigh all my food um for 6 to 8 weeks straight. The nice thing about 135 is I'm especially moving forward from being 125 is like I feel a lot stronger. I feel a lot bigger, and but I'm still pretty lean. Considering. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if I'm fighting for a bigger promotion, then yeah, I'll do the work to get down to 125. But 135 is great because I don't even know I don't think she can make 125. Poor thing, she's super tall. I think that she'd just be a little sack of bones. Um, and I'm excited about that too because she's gonna she's a big 135er and yeah, I don't yeah 125 one day, but not in 4 weeks. I can't.
Okay. Fair enough.
135.
Now,
Yeah.
FAC 17, it is in Missouri. So how close is that to where you guys live? Is it a short drive?
It's literally 10 minutes from our house. It's so
Perfect.
nice. Yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty great.
How do you like this matchup? How do you see this fight going?
Um, I love this matchup. The cool thing is I've seen her fight live before, and fight a couple of my teammates, and I'm just gonna. I haven't really watched tape on her. I'm not like obsessing about her. I'm worrying more about myself than her. Um, yeah. I just I know if I go out there and I perform, then it's gonna go well. I feel like my striking's been pretty filthy lately, and my wrestling, my grappling's been going great. So really any way this fight goes, I feel pretty comfortable. I know she's scrappy and I know she's tough, and I know that she'll take any opportunity she can get. Um, which that's how it should be, right? Uh, yeah, I know it'll be tough, but I just gotta put my eye on the prize and just move forward and just perform. And if I perform well, then I'll get my hand raised and I'll be happy camper.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier in the interview that, you'd like to fight for a Bellator. So do you feel pressure to go in there to get an impressive victory, to catch the eye of a promotion like a Bellator or one?
Not necessarily. I I don't know. I don't. I'm putting like pressure off. Like I just because the thing is, if like let's say worst case scenario, I go out, I get knocked out in 10 seconds, then what? Like my friends, my family still loves me, and I still have my animals at home, and my team still loves me. Like there's just no reason for pressure. But I just do know that if I just go perform,
Mhm.
which is what I should do, then it'll be fine. It'll all be good. Um, it's yeah, and of course I want like an impressive performance, and I just know that if I'm having fun and I'm performing, it's going to be impressive and it's going to be cool and it's going to turn heads, and bigger promotion will see me and they'll want me.
Official prediction. How do you see this ending?
Probably we're probably gonna fist fight, and then she's probably gonna grab me, and I'm probably gonna turn on the cage, and I'm probably gonna reap her leg off, and I'm probably gonna take her down. We're gonna scramble around on the ground. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully, I end up on top, punching her in her little face.
Well, as long
And
as you get the win, that's all that matters, right?
yeah, yeah, that'd be ideal.
I have one last question for you, and I wanted you to, I guess, tell me what was going on here. I was looking at your Instagram before we started this interview, and I saw this video. You were playing Beastie Boys Sabotage, and you guys were all dressed up. What were you doing there? Were you reenacting something? And I just wanted more clarity on that because I thought it looked hysterical.
So that was my bachelorette party, and sweet Laura Sanko, she was my maid of honor in our wedding, and she planned this all out. It was so fun. But the girls all came over and they're all dressed up like like dudes. And first thing she came, she's like, uh she goes, Because they say that a bachelor party is way more fun than a bachelorette party. So we're having bachelor parties. So they're like all dressed like dudes, had like socks in their pants to look like a little sausage. And it was really fun. It was just a little surprise, just fun. She
Okay.
just has to make everything super special and fun. It's great.
Very cool. Well, yeah, it looks like that was a great night. And Gina, it's a pleasure interviewing you for the first time here today. Again, FAC
Heck yeah.
17, December 9th, Gina Danger Mazany, or Elliot, soon to be Elliot, back in the cage. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, floor is yours.
Just thank you so much to all my team, my coaches, at Glory Mame, my husband Tim Elliott, all my people. If you want to find me on social media, my tag is Gina Danger AK on Instagram and Twitter.